Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are here with Dave, the president of the Utah 1033 Foundation. Thank you for being with us here today.
Thanks for being here yourself, and thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. So I just want to get right into it. I know that you were never in law enforcement, but why is law enforcement so important to you?
It's just something that society needs.
Absolutely, yeah.
May not always think that they want it, but they do want it, and they do need it, and it's just it's an incredibly hard job. It's an awful lot to carry. So
Absolutely.
Support is needed.
Yes. So were any of your family members in law enforcement, or?
No, military, but not law enforcement.
Oh, okay. All right. So how did you find the Utah 1033 Foundation?
I was invited into it. One of the co-founders served on the board of another organization that I was part of.
Okay.
And so I was invited in as a volunteer for one of the facets of the charitable program that the foundation has, which is the annual leadership awards.
Oh, okay.
And it's the one element of the program that people have to apply for, because it's not just for fallen officer families in Utah. It's for active law enforcement families as well. People can apply as high school seniors or as college students for the awards to get help with paying for college. And so there's a kind of a review committee for that, for the applications. And so I was invited in as a volunteer for that committee. And then after doing that for several years, they asked if I would step into my current role.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. So where were you before the 1033 Foundation?
I was working at a small high school here in Park City.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How would you describe the 1033 Foundation?
The Utah 1033 Foundation started a little over 10 years ago now, in basically a response to a question that the co-founders asked. They asked Chief Carpenter right here in Park City, who you just spoke with, what, as law enforcement supporters, what's the most crucial thing that they could do? And the answer was that when tragedy strikes, when a Utah law enforcement officer is killed in the line of duty, that the paychecks stop immediately, but insurance benefits, other fundraising, things like that take time to arrive.
Yeah.
And so an immediate bridge of that gap would be the most impactful thing that could be done. And so they got to work on it.
Okay, that's awesome. So what does 1033 mean?
Well, Chief Carpenter would probably be the one to say this better than I, but my understanding is that it's the police radio code for an officer in need of immediate help.
Okay, awesome. So with the 1033 Foundation, what's the hardest part of the job?
It's the hardest and the most important, and therefore, in a way, the most rewarding. But that is showing up in the wake of a tragedy. I mean, that's a very difficult thing to do, but it is the necessary thing to do.
Okay.
So again, the most rewarding, but also the most humbling and the most difficult.
Absolutely. So do you help families beyond the 25,000 that you deliver?
We stay in touch with them for sure, and we invite them to memorial events. My understanding from many of the families that I've spoken with is that the biggest fear after the immediate aftermath and shock is that the sacrifice will be forgotten. And so those ongoing memorial events are very important.
Absolutely.
And then we also have I mentioned earlier that we have several facets to what we do. First and foremost is the immediate help that's provided after a tragedy. I mentioned the leadership awards. The final and third one is the Family Education Trust Fund, and that's to support educational goals for those fallen officer families.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's not just for college. That could be for any educational endeavor that the family is trying to take on to realize their longer-term hopes, dreams, goals.
How much have you been able to donate to the families in need?
Again, it's kind of broken into the different parts. We've answered the call that a Utah law enforcement officer has been killed in the line of duty, qualified, confirmed tragedy 11 times since the foundation began.
Oh, wow.
And so that's $25,000 to each of those families. So that's $275,000 over the years. And then there's additional money that's been either paid out or committed for those educational pieces that I mentioned.
Okay.
So all told, it's just over $500,000 since the foundation began.
That is really cool. Yeah. Could you share a story of how the 1033 Foundation has helped a family in need? Like, has there been a story that has stuck with you?
They all do. They all do. Yeah. And I guess the most recent anecdote that I received from a surviving family member, this was someone who suffered through their tragedy several years ago, but now when we experience new tragedies, we'll sometimes be there to provide
Yeah.
comfort, guidance, whatever someone who has been through it can provide. And she mentioned to me how very interesting it was to see that event from both sides. When she was going through what she was going through, she said, I don't remember much of it. I have this vague recollection of meeting, members of the foundation and
Yeah.
receiving help, but the shock was deep, and it was almost a surreal experience. And now I've gotten to see what it's like when you show up, but not for me, and see what that's like, and just how really, really important it is, and to see in their shock and grief, what their reaction and gratitude is, and what it means to them in terms of being able to focus on themselves and their family and loved ones, and hopefully begin the process of healing sooner than if they had to worry about certain financial things.
Yeah.
She said that was a real interesting, eye-opening moment for her. And so I thanked her for sharing that.
Yeah. So you mentioned that when a law enforcement officer dies in the line of duty here in Utah, you help, but are you only here in Utah?
Yes, it's statewide, but
Okay.
Utah only, not national.
Would you ever consider moving to other states as well?
Maybe, but the interesting thing about that would be, how do you keep it what it currently is?
Yeah.
And how do you keep it, again, it's the immediacy of the assistance and in the wake of a tragedy that makes it so important. Again, there's other fundraising that happens. There are insurance benefits that arrive, but they take time. So if you kind of became larger or too spread out, how would you maintain that 24-hour response?
Absolutely.
Time?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's not that we think that only Utah deserves something like this. It's just that it's all that we're equipped to do at this time.
That makes sense. Yeah. I was just curious if you would ever consider expanding.
Anywhere in the state, we can be there in 24 hours or whenever the family's ready, but that's the boundary right now.
Okay, gotcha. The Honor the Fallen Charity Car Show is coming up June 21st from 11 to 2 at the Young Living headquarters in Lehigh. You can go register your car at driveroadrarally.com to help support the Utah 1033 Foundation, see some amazing cars, support an amazing cause. It's going to be awesome.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. So how does it feel knowing that the car community is coming together to support the 1033?
We're honored yet humbled at the same time.
Absolutely.
It's amazing when a tight-knit community of people come together to support something important and crucial to the community at large. It's really heartwarming and really, really appreciated.
Yes, it is. Definitely. Go register your car right now. Our goal is to raise $25,000.
Okay.
So that we can at least help one family. But what exactly would that money go towards that we're going to raise here at the car show?
It's a question of readiness for the foundation. The money that is raised allows us to be ready for the next call.
Okay.
So there's a lot that goes into that, a lot of support functions. But, some years the state of Utah doesn't suffer a tragedy of this nature. Other years, in 2016, Utah lost 3 law enforcement officers.
Oh,
wow. And you asked earlier about moments that have stayed with me. One of them was a SWAT training seminar that I was invited to sit in on. And in it, they kind of walked the SWAT officers who were attending the training through a scenario that had unfolded in Salt Lake City a few years prior. And it was absolutely harrowing just to sit through a description of it.
Yeah.
And the sort of takeaway from it for me, aside from the danger that those officers put themselves in, was that the subject in question apparently had done their level best to booby trap the house as the SWAT officers were trying to come in.
Oh.
And one of those booby traps was to create an intentional leak in the gas line. And as things started to close in, apparently they did their level best to ignite it. And had they been successful, they would have blown the house apart and potentially killed every officer on the scene.
Oh, wow.
15, 20. Being ready for something like that is just a never-ending exercise in trying to build and strengthen your readiness. I can't imagine something like that actually happening, but being ready for that is something that looms large in all of our minds, and it's something that events like this and fundraising in general are crucial to enabling.
Absolutely. It's why they do all the training, for sure. Do you have any future goals for the Utah 1033 Foundation?
Continuing to build that readiness.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's what it is. I mean, we're very much ready for the next call, but making sure that not only are we ready for the next call, even if it involves a multiple or a wave of tragedies as opposed to just a singular one, but trying to build the strength of this foundation such that it'll be here for generations to come. You don't want to, basically end your own involvement with it and dust your hands off and say, well, that's it. Hope it's still around in another 50 years. You want to make sure that it is.
Absolutely.
And so that's a goal, is finally getting to that point where it's like, okay, we've built up enough of an endowment and we have enough financial strength to where, come what may, and in terms of time, in terms of the scope or magnitude of a tragedy, that will be there to help at full strength.
Okay, awesome. So what would you tell someone that's on the fence about donating or registering for the car show?
Please get off the fence. Please ponder which side of the fence to drop on. Make sure it's the correct one. And I think this event sounds great. I'm really looking forward to being there myself.
Me too. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have 2 SWAT vehicles there. Bomb Squad is going to bring out their robots and stuff. It's going to be a really cool event.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being here,
You
Dave.
bet. Thank you.
Okay. Go register your car at driveroadrallye.com and I'll see you there.